Hey, welcome back. Hey, there you are. This is my camera now? This one? Hey, welcome back. It's a Women Wednesday on Liquid Lunch, and on Women Wednesdays, we bring in the best of the best. Women in business, women in philanthropy, women in the arts, scientists, everything. But the top of the news here in New York, big news, big news. They opened the Wegmans. And here to talk about it is famed New York Post columnist Maureen Callahan, also the author of New York Times best-selling book American Predator. And your article today has caused quite a stir here in the Big Apple.
It has.
That a Wegmans opened. Yippee!
Much to my surprise.
Why is this a big deal?
I don't know. That's the whole point of my column. I
Yeah,
don't know. It used to be that in New York we got excited about things that were worth getting excited about. I think any of us who came here from the suburbs were fleeing the banality of things like the grand opening of a supermarket. Exactly. But I have gotten many an outraged email this morning, which has been quite entertaining.
Well, so Maureen, John and I are from Staten Island, which is a little more suburban than
We don't have Wegmans.
the rest of the city. I know, but you know what the Staten Islanders do? My father and stepmother do this. They actually drive to another state, to New Jersey, to go to Wegmans, and then you try and question them about this gospel of Wegmans, and it's like I've literally committed heresy. It might be. They get so excited about Wegmans, the free samples, the quality of the product. So I am curious, what's your issue with Wegmans, and then what's wrong with Wegmans, and then two, why do you think people are so...
How can we stop the Wegmans insanity?
No, why are people so worked up over this?
I don't know. And it actually reminds me of the great Fairway hysteria of 2017, I believe, which took place in Red Hook. And it was the same phenomenon where people from other boroughs were getting themselves to a really hard place to get to in New York to go food shopping at another kind of grocery store when they probably are within a mile of a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's. I don't understand it.
I thought all these young hipsters are doing the shop online and DoorDash to the house. What
or
do we
your
even
Blue
need these Wegmans
Aprons
for?
or what have you. I have no idea.
Is there a list to get in? Do they have a bouncer at the door? Red carpet?
If
Velvet
only
rope?
there was something to sex it up. I don't understand.
They
you
have
know.
sex in there.
So you also had
talking.
last week. You had a fascinating column about Sheryl Sandberg asking the question, how did she go from being a feminist hero? Actually, answering the question, how she went from being a feminist hero to a total sellout. First, who's Sheryl Sandberg, and how did she go from being a feminist hero to a total sellout?
Sheryl Sandberg?
Well,
Sheryl
I mean, for the sake of the viewers.
Sure, for those who might not know, is the COO of Facebook, and part of her informal job description has been to humanize the company, to be sort of the good mommy to Mark Zuckerberg, the founder, who often comes across as quite robotic and perhaps slightly nefarious at best.
You know what his problem is? He doesn't blink enough. You know, you watch him on TV, and then he looks like he should be blinking a little more than he does, and then it makes people nervous.
Maybe he has Botox in his forehead.
There's also with him this sort of phenomenon, you know, if you can see the whites on the upper part of the eyeball, it's in our lizard brains, it's extremely disturbing. It registers as anomalous. So
Sheryl Sandberg's the human face of Facebook.
Yes. And she wrote a famous manifesto in 2013 called Lean In, which made her a feminist hero. The facile premise of Lean In was that the onus is upon us as women to make male executives and male-dominated companies just treat us better. And she has since become this sort of face of an unapologetic Facebook that doesn't really care that the Russians meddled in our elections, that they're going to do it again,
they don't care
that next time it will be worse.
Stealing
We're
our data.
going to mining our data for reasons that we are just beginning to understand what they're doing in terms of commodifying it, who they're selling it to, and they're also planning to launch a digital currency, and their attitude is basically, who's going to stop us?
Yeah, the government put the brakes on that one pretty quick. The digital currency is not happening. Not at this time. A bunch of the partners pulled out, but
they're still trying.
Like this,
they're very obstinate in that way.
They are like this comic book monopolistic company now. You know what I mean?
But
It's
it-
like, you know,
But it is funny.
Lex Luthor should be running it or something
The
like that.
public perception, especially among women, of Sheryl Sandberg is exactly what you described. It's almost like in wrestling, you used to have the good guy, the face, the baby face, become a bad guy, the heel. All of a sudden, that's almost what she's done. She's turned heel in the world of.
I think she has turned heel, but I don't think she's realized she's turned heel.
It's terrible. So, a big happening, would a big happening be, see, we're doing some work here on our studio. It looks a little better than the last time you were here. The team is working day and night. And we're going to have a big grand opening party, like the night before
Will it rival
Thanksgiving.
Wegmans?
I think we're going to blow out Wegmans.
Oh, good.
Would that be happening if we invited you? You know, we're going to only
yeah.
have like the coolest cats around at
well,
the
thank
grand
you.
opening party.
Absolutely.
But stay tuned to find out if you can come hang out with the cool kids in the lunchroom. But what else are you working on? Any books? Any new pieces that you can give us
I
inside
have
scoop on?
a couple of pieces coming up. Speaking of feminist heroes, one will be on Michelle Obama, who has a new project launching in a couple of weeks. And it might not be the sort of take many would expect.
Wow.
Michelle Obama is sort of an untouchable character in American life at the moment.
Did you know that there was a recent study, I think done by like McKinsey or something, that because of the lean in and the Me Too movement, that like 70-80% of male executives said they would be less inclined to travel with a female executive to a conference or a meeting because they're just afraid.
I think that's crazy,
it's
though.
actually getting causing the reverse to happen for
But
women.
that argument is yet another way of putting the onus on women.
Got it.
It's our fault that they feel uncomfortable traveling with us, and why should our careers be hindered by an abstract fear that would never come to fruition if nothing happened?
Well, that's a fair point. I do want to ask you about a column last week you wrote about Chelsea Clinton asking, why does anyone still care about her? Isn't that a little unfair? I mean, she was a first daughter. She's rumored to be a congressional candidate now for Nita Lowey's seat. Why do you think there's too much hype about Chelsea Clinton?
Chelsea Clinton was the subject of about a 7,000-word profile in New York Magazine last week that basically came down to one line. She's trying to figure out her life. She's going to be 40 in February. She wants to hold a high-level elected office. For why?
Maybe she should run for president. Obama never had one job until he ran for president. Never had
Senator,
yeah, but
how
I'm
dare
saying
you?
only elected office, but he never had a working
Chelsea
job.
hasn't even done that.
You don't work when you're a senator. Come on,
No,
these guys work half the
but
time.
to Maureen's
man.
point,
Don't
Chelsea
make-
hasn't even done that. She's expecting
No.
to be just handed the presidency. Who does she think she is?
Also,
Donald Trump?
read an interview with her. Read any interview with her. Point me to any content in anything she has to
Is
say.
she done with her training? Is she ready to run for president? I mean, do you think they've trained her on how to kill people like Jeffrey
stop
Epstein? Does
that,
she have the
stop
full
that.
training, or? I don't think Epstein's dead. That's my conspiracy.
Are you trying to create a viral moment?
No,
like
no,
the guy
no, no. Frank
on
and I
Fox
talk
News
about
the
this
other
all the
night
time.
who was like, Jeffrey Epstein, who was that? Who said Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself?
I wish we had it, but I don't think he's dead. I'm not
You don't
trying
think
to
he's
create a
dead?
moment. No.
Oh, where do
No.
you think he is? On a private island
I
somewhere?
He thinks
I
he's
don't
running
know.
for president as Joe Walsh.
That's right. I don't know if you ever seen this guy Joe Walsh, who's running for president. We have that or no? We don't have it probably, but I think Hillary and Bill Clinton put him up to running against Donald Trump. He's on the run, but he's Joe Walsh now.
This is quite a theory. It's
That
quite
it
a
is.
mind
That
you've
it
got.
is. That's a potential column right
What happens in this mind, no one can tell, but my mom gave it to me. And she's the best.
there. Don't blame her. She's a wonderful woman.
She gave it to me. She's the best, and she's watching. Maureen Callahan, thank you so much. For
Thank you guys
joining
so
us.
much.
Please come back again soon.
Anytime.
You don't go anywhere. Coming back right after this with Johnny Burnett.